Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Micon Podcast. I'm Seun Okimaloye. The year 2025 is gradually winding down, and like many of you, I'm taking a moment to reflect. But how has 2025 been for you? Are you still pushing towards those goals, hoping to squeeze out and win even the final lap of the year? If you are, don't worry. Hang in there. Sometimes the breakthroughs come right at the end. For Nigeria, 2025 has been anything but easy. The past few weeks alone have tested our collective resilience. We are all hoping that the dark cloud of troubling headlines begins to clear. Banditry, kidnapping for ransom, insurgency, and every term that describes the violent crimes choking our communities have dominated the front pages of our national dailies. The human toll is heavy. The emotional toll even heavier. So what exactly is a way out of this troubling situation? How do we begin to reclaim our peace on the political front? Party politics is taking an interesting turn with new alignments, defections, and shifting loyalties, making the landscape even more unpredictable. In a time like this, what role should opposition politics be playing? And is the opposition rising to the occasion or leaving a vacuum that affects all of us? To help us dissect these issues, I have High Chief Peter Ameh, a former national chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC. He joins me here in our podcast studio. Thank you so much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. 2025 is gradually winding down. But in your own estimation, how do you think, as a nation, how would you assess? How do you think we've fared?
We've not fared very well. We've fared really bad. And the condition that we're currently facing is as a result of the inability of those who took power, to properly manage the affairs of the country. If you look at what has happened is that there's no communication from the presidency. Presidency, was more interested in spending most of his time outside of this country. The only reason why the president remained behind today was because they felt Donald Trump was breathing through their breathing on their head, and that's why they were, really very shaky and unstable. Then you saw some level of movement in attempting to address some of the challenges that have plagued this government since the resumption of office. So we have a very big challenge, and a lot of Nigerians are grinding their teeth, they are gnashing, and they are in pain because the middle class is totally wiped out. There's nothing showing that the economic activities of this country is progressing. Because you can't be talking about statistics and talking about GDP, and at the end of the day, it's not putting money in the pocket of the ordinary people, and then the dining table is empty. People can't feed themselves. The cost of living has really gone through the roof. These are the truth. Whether they want to confront it or not, they know these are the truth. But because the people in the presidency and those in government are actually insulated from some of this problem, and we have a kind of government that does not, like I said, doesn't relate with the people, don't go out to see what is happening. It's from the presidency maybe to the National Assembly, from the National Assembly to France, to England, and back to the presidency or to his house in Baudelaire. So we have a situation where there's a disconnect between the governed and those who are, the citizens that are, that are supposed to, bear the brunt of the policies of ST policies, unplanned policies that are actually, driving our people into poverty.
But if you look at things, what has happened, and you alluded to the fact that we are seeing movements, maybe based on what Donald Trump has said, and you're saying that this government seems to have woken up.
They're not working. When you do something based on eye service, it's not that you're working. What they are doing is to try to, stop Donald Trump from, carrying out some of his threat and some of his warning against the planned action they intend to take.
So whatever they are doing now under this Tinubu government is to please Trump.
It's to please Trump. It's cosmetic in the nature that all they want is to be able to. How much have they spent?
Is Tinubu afraid of Trump?
Of course, even most of his party men have said it. Even Akpabio said that Trump is watching over them and Trump is, stressing them. So the fact remains.
Why would Tinubu be afraid of Trump?
Because we have not built our system in a way that will be self-sustaining.
We're a sovereign state.
We're a sovereign state in one ground where the bandits have taken control of Zamfara, of Katsina, have taken control of major cities of this country. They're collecting levies and taxes. What is sovereign about that? I've read about sovereignty. I know about territorial protection of our territorial integrity. Which one are they protecting? As we're talking today, 300 and something children from the Catholic school in Nigeria are still in captivity. And we negotiated with Bandit to be able to release the one that was taken in Kebbi.
No,
so
the government said
there was negotiation, because as soon as they said they called the people, they discussed with them. So there was negotiation. And you don't know what negotiation, something happened. In fact, I believe that something exchanged hands and they are further enriching and expanding the Bandit.
But you don't have evidence to prove that.
It's my belief and it's my personal opinion.
But the government said
entitled to this
there was
opinion
no kobo that was
in
exchanged.
Section 40.
Yeah. The government said there's no kobo that was exchanged.
How much has the government come out clean to tell us what kind of communication happened between them and the bandits? That the government know where the bandits are, and that the bandits are afraid of the actions of the government, and the government will take care of them. Is it that the government is playing tricks with us, or they are trying to manage a way that the banditry is over part of a system that keeps people in power?
Are you one of those who are doubting or overthinking how some of the Kwara, some of the Kebbi students and Kwara worshippers were released? Because there are those who say, how did you release them? If you actually went to take the war to them, wouldn't you have killed any one of them? There are those who are of the school of thought. There are those who will say, maybe there are other means by which the government, and what the most important thing is that we got them out.
There's no other means. If you go to get them out, there will be confrontation. There'll be exchange of some kind of actions or bullets. And at the end of the day, there will be casualties or some sort of injury. But what we got is the fact that even the spokesman to the government, Bayo Ononuga, said they communicated with the bandit. There was a communication. There was a discussion.
Is that a crime?
So yes, we can't share our territory with people who are, hell bent in destroying it. With people who have already undermined our sovereignty, people who have already undermined our government. These people are on TikTok. But they are saying all sorts of things against the government.
There are soft targets, those who are in captivity.
There's no need of talking
innocent ones that we need to get out. They are primary, don't you think?
See, I've done research about vulnerability of the schools, why they go to vulnerable school, because they are children and they can actually take them without them screening or fighting for help. But you can't be in government. And you saw this had happened before. And you cannot put strategy in place to arrest it. There are a lot of technology now. You can plant sensor cameras around the school. We don't have security. Most of these schools are not fenced. They don't have
But there's a safe school initiative.
Well, it is not working.
The NSCDC is meant to safeguard.
It's not working. Let's drop in lip service to these things. We don't even see the resources, where the resources going. Today we have a situation where 14.2 million pounds was spent in NNPCL office in London. For what? You have a situation where that was spent for entertainment. How much was that? About 30 billion naira was spent for entertainment at the National Oil Company of Nigeria office. You have about 17.5 trillion spent on securing pipelines. What kind of security are you offering? That is more than 12 years of subsidy we have paid. You have 7.something trillion that was also paid for subsidy in 2024. When the president said in 2023, May 29, that the subsidy was gone. So we don't have a government that is accountable to our people. They're not giving us enough record of what they are earning and what they are spending. You go wake up and say, no, our reserve has increased. But you say that is the highest reserve in the last 7 years. But this is still the APC government. You are indicted. You cannot disassociate yourself from the APC mismanagement and destruction of our economies.
You seem very dissatisfied with this government.
Sincerely, this government has really disappointed everybody, including their party members. They're just pretending. It's got most of them on the table. They're enjoying what they call table manners. But the truth remains that this government has failed the people. You can't imagine the level of poverty in rural communities. Can
you say a government has failed? This is half time, 50% into the journey. And that those who will say, oh, maybe at some point we will see traction. And maybe allow this government to be able to live up to the third year, towards the fourth year, a lot. Then you may be able to judge. There are football games that we see at halftime that it will be 0-0. And at the end of the day, the game might end 4-0.
No, this is governance. And this is about the lives of our people. And it's a serious business. It's not football. This is about people's standard. You have to measure people's standard of living, whether people are doing well, where have they put the money? Our investors are not getting better funding. Also are not getting their money.
Students are getting loans.
But loan, to how many percentage of people in school? So we have a challenge. You look at how much they say they've spent in giving to the less from a humanitarian ministry. Most of the family members can't get the money. So there's a corruption issue, and there's a gap in the management of the public financing. If we need to get things right, we need to have a government that is transparent. As I speak to you, there was a portal during Jonathan time that every amount of money government spends, whatever comes into government, is publicly displayed and people go there. The APC government have shut it down. Without transparency, you cannot say there's no corruption.
Would you be fair to this government to have to be alleged to now inferring that this government is corrupt? On what basis would you say this government is corrupt?
I've given you statistics of how much they spend. You can't spend 17.25 trillion. I'll say you are securing a pipeline.
But these are inherited. These are things that have come over the years.
Look, government is a continuum. Talking about ABC.
But would you say the Tinubu government is corrupt when you're talking about?
Has he reviewed this process? Has he looked at it? Why do we continue to pay such amount of money? Why are we investing where it's not impacting on the life of the vast majority of people? Tell me which of the federal medical centers Tinubu invested money. Tell me which of the national hospital, where is he investing money? Tell me of the national teaching hospitals that we have across Nigeria, from OAU to how they call it, Nnamdi Azikiwe and all of that. Where have they invested the money? So there's no money. They are not caring for the people. These people are always interested in the fact that they can get health care from foreign countries, and their doctors are there. They can tell you there's no country in the world where the president will always tell people that he's going for medical support.
Chief Ameh, are you being critical only because you are a Peter Obi supporter, and you are not seeing any good at all in what his government has done in the last 2 years? Some of the things that you have punctured tonight, I mean, there are things that this government will come out to say in health, this is what we have done. In infrastructure, this is what we have done. In education, this is what we have done. But you don't seem to see any good at all in this government. Is it because of your bias?
No, you have known me for a long time. I've been talking about good governance for a long time. And that's the major reason why I will support Peter Obi, not for anything. Because it's not, if people joining the APC, they don't have any specific credentials that I don't have. I have a lot of friends there, and a lot of them are there. I could have just joined. But the fact remains that there are clear terms. The president have not shown me that the table established for transparency, that they are ticking it. All the checkpoint, they are ticking it. You talk about 750 kilometer coastal highway of Lagos Calabar. How was the contract awarded? It was shady. There was no public bidding. There was nothing. It was just taken and given to one contractor that happens to be his friend. You talk about trying to bring somebody from Belarus to bring mechanized equipment for agriculture. He said the person was his classmate in Chicago. This is what you don't even take in normal government cycles where we learn the democratic practice from. Look at Canada. The whole mayor was asked to resign because she flew a private jet with her family to attend the burial of Nelson Mandela, and they said that private jet is meant for it's an official use. You can't use it for family and friends. So we get it right, because we're not just looking at government from the fact that people come to make press conference or people to talk about how much money they've earned or how much they're spending. We're looking at the foundation of what you need to do. What are you doing to uplift the life of the people? The vast majority of our people are suffering, and they can relate. People talk about, people don't want to appreciate this government, that this government, everything we do, we're very critical. We're not critical. CG Musa was just recently appointed. Where did you see people complaining? No, ask yourself.
So you think that that's a good decision?
Where did you see people? Look at the people.
Is this a good decision?
It's a good decision for me.
What about the decision of the president to withdraw protection for VIP, to go back for them to go into normal policing duty?
You see, I think there are too many comfortable situations for people who are in government. And because of that, they are not thinking of the care of the people. Because everybody's just having police. Even House of Rep members, senators, everybody now, private citizens are getting police. There's not a problem anywhere in the world. But the fact that we don't have enough policemen, what the president should have done, you don't do anything in hasty. It is a hasty decision and impulsive decision that the president took in May 29, 2023 that have left us into this level of poverty. Because if the president have relaxed to be able to study the oil industry, look at the downstream and look at all the challenges that are there, then the president would have taken an informed decision that would have not skyrocketed the cost of transportation that eventually affected the cost of goods and services. So if you want to withdraw, I think the president should have been able to establish a model for recruitment that within so time and in the next 1 year, we'll be able to recruit 100,000, not the one that will eat agbado and corn and this, the one really policemen that will be professionally trained. Because most of these communities, you will not find any policemen. And that's why I also support the CJ Musa when he says that soldiers should be withdrawn from federal highway. What soldiers doing checkpoint? What? When we have civil defense, we have police. And you can't destroy institution. Because Tinubu must understand that keeping the Inspector General of Police beyond his time is also affecting the junior officers' morale. Because there are people, when you look at the level, how growth happens in public service. When a person takes off his time, serves 35 years in service, or attain a certain age and leaves, the next person will come in. But if you do government of patronizing government, where you patronize friends and family, because you know the current IG, you felt it should be there, that's where you can have trust. You must have trust in the constitution of this country. You must have trust in the foundation of the laws that establish these institutions and this framework that kept them in place to work and respect the constitution of our country. So the president is not playing this management of our public engagement very well. He should be able to allow people who time have come to go, so that you can build public trust and also build morale within the forces. So from there you can have a process where people can really defend.
So you do not think President Tinubu has done the right thing, or is at the driver's seat in terms of decision making over security situation in this country?
No, he hasn't. The only decision he took is because of Trump. He hasn't taken any decision all this while. He didn't even care. I didn't even see him doing anything. It was because of Trump, and one, it was because for his own safety, and he's selfish, because we had a rumor that there was a coup in this country, and suddenly we saw that the service chief was changed, and that is personal, because I do not see those level of enthusiasm on his own part to say, look, let me go here, let me go here. How many places has he visited? How many places has he been able to comfort people? Look at what happened at Capitol Hill the last time, at the presidential American White House, where 2 personnel were shot. What happened? The president addressed the nation. The National Security Advisor addressed the nation. Everybody was addressing the nation, including the mayor of Washington. But we are having people, getting kidnapped. People are shot and killed in the church at Kwara, and you never seen the president to come out and speak with the people, because it's about compassion. You must be able to relate and sympathetic to the well-being of our people, because people are missing it. The primary purpose why government was created is not for government to build school. Yeah, you could build school. This is, you captured it in section in fundamental principle of state policy, but it is not, that will come up. But the primary purpose is the security of life and property. Because it is when property and life are secure that people flourish. Because if you have a property and you can't live there, you can't flourish.
Right.
If you have a community, you can't travel there, the community won't flourish. So government has failed in making sure this fundamental objective, primary objective of government, to secure the lives and property of our people, is in safe hands.
You recently referred to the security situation in the north central region of the country as a massacre. Does this mean that you agree with former U.S. President, the U.S. President Donald Trump's characterization of the situation as Christian genocide?
For me, I think there's a lot of killing. And I think the killing is one-sided, to be sincere with you. We've not seen, I've not seen, any evidence where, Christians are leading a crusade, to kill anybody. And I think that the level of genocide that is happening, is the responsibility of government to stop it. It is not in me to give it a narrative or to give it a definition.
So you're saying there's Christian genocide?
There's a genocide in this country.
Is there a Christian genocide?
It could be ethnic, it could be it could be regional, and it could be a Christian one. It could be take any form.
What do you think is going on?
What I feel is that there's a massacre in this country, and there is a genocide against the minority and the Christian population of the Middle Belt. There's no doubt. We can't color it, because you can't come to a community in Yawata and wipe out 200 and some people overnight, and you tell me that we should not say that there's something going on. You can't go to Biron, go to Rion, go to Bokos, and people are dying. No, we shouldn't continue like that. Yes, there are people dying on the both 2 sides of the divide, but leaders in the north must wake up, and they must be sincere to themselves, because people who started this problem were doing it based on their political selfish interest, by creating a system that eventually has gone beyond the reach and control of their own people. And the only way we can stop it, there was a time in this country I didn't believe that the Nigerian can strip, put a bomb on himself and explode. I didn't believe it. I was sitting with all my friends who were generous today, but they were junior officers at the time. We were talking about, I said, no, it can't happen in Nigeria, until I lost a relative. So it is a very bad situation that is going on. And the only way we can save it now is that Nigeria has become a very lucrative center for banditry, for those who want to make money. We have one of the most porous border crossing in the world. You are from Niger to Cameroon and the Chad border. People are just crossing.
I mean, so it comes to the point that some of your friends are in Washington, D.C., and they are the ones pushing the Trump administration that there is Christian genocide and that this government is killing Christians.
I've never had a friend per se that I would say is in the U.S.
When I say your friends, those there are information as to the fact
there
that
could be
those whom
of this
you
country.
are political association and affiliation with are in Washington, D.C., and they are the ones pushing this narrative against Nigeria.
There's nothing like that. The people pushing this narrative are people who are in government today. It is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It is the APC. Them Shehu Sani, all of them, who were posting on Twitter, including Omokri, who were writing on Twitter, who were speaking to the U.S. government that there's Christian genocide in this country. Go and look at it. The records are there. They can delete it. The Nigerian public knows the truth. They were the one pushing it. But today, this document have come to the forefront of discussion. And the American government is treating their proposal and their petition to the government. So they cannot deny it. And I cannot say that I have any person. If I have a person in the United States that they pushing it, I will be here and I will admit it. There's nothing to run about and there's nothing to hide. But the fact that I have nobody in the United States today that I've seen pushing, apart from the information that I've seen during the Jonathan regime, Jonathan administration, where Bola Ahmed Tinubu categorically made statement that there's Christian genocide, when I've seen some from J.C. Osani, when I've seen from Reno Mokre and others, they've made this statement more than several times, and they've also communicated this statement to the United States. So for the challenge we have is that people are not willing, people are not consistent in their principles and in their public statement. They will say one thing tomorrow and change tomorrow. You can never find that with me. Whatever I said last year, 10 years ago, even on your show or wherever you have interviewed me, I've stood by them. Because I believe that no man should be so inconsistent that people will not know where he stands in times of crisis. Today, there are these challenges that we have today is critical, and we will need support, international support, in whichever manner to be able to make sure that we stop we eradicate these people who are bent on making Nigeria go on their knees to beg them to have a place to sleep at night. People can no longer sleep with their eyes closed. Yeah. That's not the kind of country I envisioned when I was growing up. You
see, some of the decisions that this government has made, for example, the appointment of ambassadors, those who say this is long coming. It should have happened a long time ago. What's your assessment of some of the personalities and the profile of the people who are being appointed or nominated?
The character of these people frightens me. I wish I would not have children that will eventually grow up and behave like that. We want people that our children will be modeled after, with high level of morality, with a very kind of ethics character that people can be proud of. You can today have Didane Boala, who have also said on several times that there's Christian genocide in the north. He's speaking for the president today. Then you have people like Reno, who have called the president all kind of unprintable names. A drug peddler, a certificate forger, and all sorts of things. Today, he's going to be, he has gotten something for standing on the line, and his only reason why it's important today is because he has the capacity to insult and call names. That is why it's important. He's going to be an ambassador. Then you have FFK. This list. I don't think the Nigerians were really impressed. It's not me. You can check, do what they call voice properly and conduct your research. You find out that Nigerians were not really impressed with the list because there's something we call foreign service regulations. Where you need to have career ambassadors. They say, this is a prerogative right of the president to appoint. It's a political authority. He can appoint, but you must do things in a way that will have professionals who have been trained, who have probably attend courses, attend some level of attend the Foreign Affairs Academy, and also do all sorts of things that will be able to go out and engage with their counterpart whenever they live here, to represent Nigeria. The list leave a lot of sour taste in my mouth and the mouth of a lot of Nigerians. There's nothing there. The list is just for political consideration, which is not something to be. It's supposed to be a professional list, a list driven. Yes, you could have politicians and non-career ambassadors, attached to the list, but there are a lot of other people that you could have carried. I'm not impressed with the list.
But these are Nigerians. There are those who believe that there's nobody that the president appoints that people will not criticize. There will be those who think that these some of the nominations should not happen, no matter what.
I'm not even. The president can use his own hand to destroy his own government. I don't care. Just that it affects me. I live in this ecosystem. It affects me the way I'm viewed internationally, the way I'm seen. Because you can't juxtapose it when you play a video about a person insulting and calling the president all sort of name about some few years ago, and you viewed another video, that's a person singing him. So there's a challenge of character here, and I'm not worried for him. I'm worried for our people. I'm worried for our country, because we will have a challenge where these people go. Because like when these foreign embassies you see, as soon as you are carrying your own background check here, they're also carrying their own background check over there. They know the character of the person you are sending, what they can do to undermine them, and what their weakness, and they do a SWOT analysis on them. So you can't say that we do not have people. For the National Intelligence Agency, for the foreign affairs, you have people, even in the military, you have people who have gone to foreign attaché, who have spent 4 years. You have people at that level who have a lot of experience. You can do a proper search. This one today is just a reaction. This ambassadorial list is also part of the reactionary the decision of the president to quickly appoint, because of the tweet that came out of Donald Trump's handle. So if we can be controlled by mere tweet, there's no time the president has shown any sort of reaction to all the cries, all the shouting of Nigerians that have said they are suffering, they are frustrated, there's no extension of governance to where they live, or they are not feeling the impact of government. The government had not reacted. The government never reacted. Right. They only reacted because of a tweet from another president.
It does look like you are campaigning for Emilokon in 2027. The manner in which of your public engagement, it looks like you think that Peter Obi, it is his turn to be Nigeria's president.
No, it's beyond that.
Let me quote some of the things that you have said. You said in your recent tweet, you said, "Baboon know they walk, make monkey they chop." Peter Obi is from southern Nigeria, and it is the turn of the south.
Everybody is not from the south. We're talking about the opposition side. Well, from the south.
Is that not an Emilokon tendency?
No. What we are saying is that they have been, see.
So you're already preaching the Emilokon philosophy that it is the turn of the south. That is the Emilokon philosophy.
No, it's not.
That is our turn. It's my turn.
Nigeria has an integrated and a complex ethnic regional problem. And since we got into democratic practice, we have been doing rotation. You go to the south. In 2011, you saw how people revolted against Jonathan. That it was not the turn of the south. So what we are doing, if we are going to abolish that, we can all come out and abolish it. I'm a man that sticks to principles, and I stick to an agreement. If we want to abolish it, we say there's no south and northern dichotomy when it comes to presidential election. Let everybody.
So you are saying that in 2027, it has to be a southern candidate
for 2027 for the opposition. It's better because it's not just for a southern candidate. Yeah. They need to have a candidate that has the capacity, the appeal, the public understanding, and the public acceptance to be able to deliver the vote to the opposition. We couldn't just be going to election just because we want to go to election. We need to have that candidate that comes on board and give the opposition traction. And that's why I feel that it's P2B. When I said baboon know the monkey know the woman baboon the chop, is the reason, is the problem is that you can't want to benefit from a support base of a candidate and want that candidate not to have the opportunity to enjoy.
What political party is P2B right now?
P2B is the Labour Party.
At the moment?
It's not, there's no lie about that.
It's not in ADC?
It's the Labour Party, man. There's an agreement, and he said that when the time is ready, he's going to announce when he will join the ADC. There was that agreement. I was in that meeting. And so it's not something that was done in...
So for you, it is either Peter Obi or nothing?
No, I won't change my mind. There's nothing there.
Even if he doesn't get the ticket of any political party?
I'm not pursuing anything again. I'm so happy because all I want to do is to leave a lasting legacy for my children to know that I stand on what I believe in and my principles have not shifted over the years that I've been in politics. And that's the essence, because there could be and there should be morality in politics, because we are trying to destroy this fabric of political engagement for the young generation, thinking that it is a quick game where you just come, you benefit, and you go. How many people were ministers during Jonathan? Who remembers them?
But Chief Ameh, are you worried that Peter Obi might not be able to replicate the numbers that he garnered in the 2023 election if he is on the ballot in 2027?
We are not just running election and just making speculation out of the blues. We also carry out that, we also collect data. We do a lot of engagement. I just came back from a journey, I told you. So these are the things we do behind closed door. And we know what is there. And we know that the only person that this government does not want to be on the ballot is Peter Obi. They are doing everything.
So Peter Obi can defeat Bola Tinubu.
Go and count how many times Bayo Ononuga has posted about Peter Obi on his Twitter page.
What does that mean?
He's worried. He's worried about Peter Obi. They are worried. They don't talk anything without talking about Peter Obi.
If Atiku Abubakar, you think Tinubu is not afraid of Atiku Abubakar?
He's not.
He's not afraid of Rotimi Amechi? He's not afraid. He's the only person Tinubu is afraid of is Peter Obi.
He's on record. They know it. There's a high level of fear.
If Peter Obi goes head-to-head with Bola Tinubu, you think Peter Obi will beat Bola Tinubu?
We got into this democracy in 1999. The APC did everything to defeat Bola Tinubu in Lagos. They couldn't. They did everything. They brought further mind, they brought resources, they brought connection. They could not. It took the Peter Obi to garner about 1 million votes that was reduced to 500,000 votes. It took a Peter Obi to come to FCT when there was seat of power to defeat the Tinubu. It took a Peter Obi, go and watch a Premium Times report, BBC report.
There are feelers that the only viable option to be able to defeat Bola Tinubu or the APC is to unite. Have a formidable force that coming together. They coming together of the opposition forces to come together to battle against Bola Tinubu. If not, there's no way. That those who are of that opinion.
I speak for myself, and Peter Obi himself knows, even as much as we have argued about these things, and he knows my opinion, and I've never been shy of saying my opinion. I don't think that is the situation. I think that we must have a proper opposition meeting where it's properly organized and towards having a candidate that is acceptable by the people. We can't just decide on our own that we are going to force something through the throat of those who are going to vote for us, because Bola Tinubu, whether you like it or you don't want to believe it, is in power. So you can't come and bring somebody that will not be able to excite the young population, that will not be able to excite the electorate to go to the polls and vote.
Does Peter Obi excite the younger population?
People are injured. I saw in Lagos where a lady got her eye, almost removed, and she went back after treatment to go and vote.
You think that will be replicated in 2027?
It will go more than that. People are disappointed, no doubt. I saw a lot of people disappointed because they saw the vote being stolen, they saw the mandate disappeared, they saw a lot of things happen, they saw the glitches that are unexplained in today.
APC has garnered more states.
It has never been like that. In 2019, when Peter contested, as a vice president candidate, he defeated everybody in the Southeast. He got the vote. But when they tried it with Okowa in 2023, with APC, with their PDP, they couldn't get the Southeast. They couldn't get the South side. Don't forget, in 2023 election, Okowa was the vice president candidate of the PDP in the Delta. Peter scored over 80% of the vote in Delta. It is not, elections have changed, the dynamics have changed, the system have changed. Before we used to talk, I've been in police, you know me. We used to sit in a room and say that, you have a councillor here, you will bring 4 votes. You have a governor here, you will bring this vote. It's not like that again. We have more young people who are more enlightened. What we had before were older people who believe in the same procedure, the same style of playing game, and they do a bad wagon effect. But there are young people today that will not put their vote except they are convinced. There are young people today.
But this feeling that if Atiku and Peter Obi join forces, they will be able to defeat anyone.
We have been joining forces. We are joining forces right now. That is the essence of the coalition.
So if Peter Obi becomes the vice presidential candidate for Atiku Abubakar in 2027, you don't think that will solve the problem?
I don't believe so. A lot of people believe that, and I'm not excited about it. For me, I think we should all continue to pursue our idea of a better Nigeria, and that person that that I feel is perfectly suited for that position is Peter Obi, and I think that. I've known Peter Obi for a long time. And one thing I know about him is his prudent nature. I think one of the greatest challenge we face in government today is the waste in our government. I told you about the kind of money being spent. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company of Nigeria spent 30 billion naira on entertainment. 30 billion naira on entertainment. Just to drink tea and water. And nobody's accounting, nobody's being held responsible for that. I saw the audit report. We're talking about 17.5 trillion naira for pipeline security. We're talking about 7.5 trillion for subsidy in 2024 when we had the 2023 budget that shouldn't even carry anything like subsidy. So these are challenges that were clear. You say you are putting money in this in. There's no mitigating factor for the removal of subsidy. Today, people look for money. People earn 100,000 naira in 2023. Were able to work and go to work because of those impulsive decisions. I'm telling you, inflation has deeply eaten out into the pocket of these young Nigerians and have made them to become underemployed. They are no longer employed. They go to work, but they are underemployed, and they suffer the consequences of that decision of the president. You go and try the cost of transportation from Masaka to Abuja to Abuja today. It is mind-blowing. So anybody who works within that range, it's not because they are not well paid. It is because a government policy destroyed their earnings.
So in your mind, Peter Obi is the Messiah that we all should wait for.
As a Christian, I don't want to use Messiah, but I think he's the right person. And I'm very sure, I'm convinced. There's nothing hard. I will want to be in government. I have friends who have called me that please God go and meet this person. I have friends who have senior people I've worked with, before. I won't want to mention who are senior men in the APC. But I am convinced for the purpose of public and prudent management of our public resources, Peter Obi is the best person. Because if we go by cost-cutting measures and we reduce the cost of governance, I'm telling you, we'll be able to save enough money to improve on our healthcare, to improve on infrastructure about our road, to improve infrastructure about how we manage our institution. We have wasted a lot of resources in doing nothing, and we are not moving because we continue to have motion without movement. So much money being spent, much budget being appropriated.
You so much believe in Peter Obi, but someone like Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, doesn't think that the effort or the performance of Peter Obi in Anambra State when he was governor is anything to write home about. That record, he doesn't think is enough to be able to hand over the affairs of this country into the hands of a Peter Obi.
When he decided behaving like that? When? Of recent. Because there are videos of him going to commission project with Peter Obi in Anambra, where he was praising Peter Obi for being the most prudent governor, the most successful governor in the history of our country. There are videos. Those videos are there. So when did it change? Is it after the Premium Times report and the expose of the BBC about election in Rivers State that results were manipulated in favor of Tinubu in the state? Is it after that? Because I don't know when it changed. I don't know when his decision about
But his view is that in the 8 years of running the affairs of Anambra State, Peter Obi kept state funds in the bank instead of investing in infrastructure, and therefore lacks the moral standing to criticize other people.
That's why Nigeria is not saving for the future. There was a time we wanted to have a national, they call it, it's skipping my head now, the fund that we're supposed to save at the time during Obukonjo Wela, Nigeria's Sovereign Wealth Fund or something. And the governors went against it. This money is supposed to be saved for future generations and be able to cushion whatever external shock that comes to affect the country. What Peter Obi was doing was to increase the credit rating of the state. And that is what you do. Nobody keeps the money that he could steal. Every government who wants to leave, they steal money. You can't keep money in the bank account when you have the capacity to steal the money. And don't forget, if you go to just suppose the budget of that time, when governors were barely, maybe in Anambra, were barely receiving 2.5 billion per month as monthly allocation, 2.5, 2.3, or 3 billion. Today, look at what governors are getting. And there's no accountability. Look at what people got. People like him got from derivation money, where they got extra money. What did they do in their state? There's nothing. So, but in Anambra, if you go back to look at the budget, you will discover that the man was almost earning like 2 billion, 3 billion from FAC on a monthly basis. And that was a fresh point in trying to develop the internal revenue architecture of the state. So at that foundation level, you have to build for the next people.
On a final note, what do you see for Nigeria, especially in the politics of 2027 at its building? In the next few months, we are actively going to get into that politics.
I see brighter future, and I think that the population of Nigerian voters today and the demographic have changed. To be able to drive a new course for our people. We need to have a Nigeria that is solely driven on the basis of merit, credibility, competence and capacity. And these are the things I see in Peter Obi. And for that kind of future for our country, we'll be able to develop a country that will be the envy of many countries, many foreigners, and many of our admirers who have also changed their mind. Look at the story of Rwanda. Today they are running a one Rwanda program, and it's generating a lot of. The capital city is the cleanest in Africa. They have the one of the highest level of women inclusive participation in governance, about 63%. So we can change our story with proper leadership, with proper focus. Because what we lack today, we're running our government on impulse. You wake up today, the president said this is what you want to do. We have no long-term, medium-term, and short-term national plan. None of that we don't have. And no country has survived without having that. And because we don't do government by continuity, we do government, by, at this point in time, the president, they say the body language of Buhari. We suffer the body language of Buhari today now. We are suffering the name given to Tinubu. Strategy, he has Mr. Strategy, and that strategy is not ending up bringing food to the table of the common man. Even if you study economics, you can't even you don't know the theory you use to calculate the kind of money that comes from Harare and market and goes out, or the one that comes to Aba International and goes out. And you can't have the theory to be able to continue to call theory, whether based on consumption or whatever reason you want to call it, that will not put food on the table of the common man, and you have economic prosperity. The only way you can say you have economic prosperity is when the common man of this country, of this nation, can be able to have public transportation system, can be able to be boastful of private water into their compound without them running a water scheme on their own, that can be able to be sure that the security on his street is stable enough to service him and his family. These are when you will know that there's a progress in our government. But for now, I'm not happy with the level of decision that the president has taken so far.
Chief Peter Ameh, thank you so much indeed for your time on the Micon podcast.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Well, that's our conversation on this episode of the Micon podcast. And I hope that with Chief Peter Ameh's submission on this episode, you are able to see his perspective on the state of the nation. What are you thinking? What are you saying? Why not just go to the comment section, drop your comment, subscribe to this episode and past episodes, share also, and subscribe. Many thanks everyone for watching and listening to this edition. I'm Seun Okemaloye. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Micon Podcast with Seun Okemaloye. Micon Podcast for the independent mind.